Well, who's that little girl over there? Hello, this is Sara Lynn. She is our newest family member. Yes, and she's a little New Zealander girl. She's from New Zealand, and she passed away in 2001, and she's joined our family. Yeah. Um, it's interesting how she had been with the boys for probably about 4 months, and then Daniel had mentioned to Michelle that they had a little friend who they really adored and loved so much, and they wanted to know if she could join the family. And of course, hey, I'm not going to say no. You know, she's a little sweetheart. There's no way in a million years I'd ever have anything mean join the family. There was something that tried to bully the kids, but it got shoved. But she's a little sweetie, and she plays the violin, and she's from New Zealand. She just adores George, and I'm very happy that George now has a sister, because he had a sister, and when George passed away, he saw that he could go home to God. He could have gone, but he wanted to stay with his sister, so he just floated with his sister, and then she eventually passed away, and he ended up attaching to one of her toys from a long time ago. One of her dolls, I don't know, there must have been sitting this one here, Cabbage Patch doll. And yeah, so poor old George kind of got left behind, because he ended up, you know, when he must have lived with her for all that time, and then when she passed away and left, poor George was still there, and he ended up in estate sales, and he'd had quite a few homes, but people were finding him, kids were probably saying, this little boy's doing some weird stuff. I'm hearing him singing and stuff like that, you know, or he's doing things. And so he got handed around quite a bit until the time where he was put in that forest, Epping Forest, by himself, and that little girl found him. And yeah, so I'm so glad that he has a sister again who's here, and she adores him so much. She just loves him so much. They watch movies together and cartoons, and George just loves her. They played patty cake together. This is their spirits I'm talking about. Play patty cake, yeah. And Jimmy and Daniel just love her to bits. And Daniel wanted her to join, they all wanted Sara Lynn to join the family. Daniel approached Michelle and said they had a little friend, and I'm thinking, oh, I knew this was going to start happening. I knew this. But hey, they love her to bits, and she loves them to bits. And she needs a home. She's, yeah, so many kids that don't want to go home yet. They don't want to go home to God yet. They still want to, they want to live that life, you know. And I adopt these kids, you know. I know people say, oh, you know, you buy kids, and they, you know, this kind of people buying children and stuff kind of thing. I adopted these children. I adopted them. Yeah. These are living kids. They may not be in human vessels, but they are living. They have a spirit just like I do, just like everyone else does. They are living. So, and I know people use the term buying, but I don't. You'll never hear me say, oh, I'm going to sell a vessel, because I will never do that. If I adopt a child, that child stays with me until that child wants to move on. That's as in the human self, how it's done. You know, you adopt a child, they always stay in your heart, you know. But these babies might want to go over to God. And yeah, but I know people do use that word, sell, and that's how they want to do it. That's cool. You know, they may be more looking at the vessel when they're going to sell stuff, but I don't. I look at the spirit. The spirit, you know, that's with the vessel. I think if humans did that more with each other, we'd probably like each other a lot more. And you know, even in Christianity it says, you know, when you see someone, you see God, you know. You see the love of Christ in them. And that's just having yourself understanding that things are not only physical, but they're also, but that's, you know, so we're kind of like brainwashed to look at the vessel, even to what someone's wearing. You know, you might be wearing the wrong colours in a gang area or something like that, or you might be dressed funny, or you might have a funny haircut. Everything's like that, you know. It's the way we're taught it's part of our five senses of how we think. But it's that extra sense, you know, they call it sixth sense, that actually sees further on beyond that thing. And with these children, I see their vessels, but I also see beyond that and see them, you know, I perceive them as well beyond their own physical vessels that are here. You know, not that they're not in human bodies, but yeah, so that's why it's quite tricky to take them out to places, because people, they don't understand that side of it, you know. But yeah, she's fitting in very well. She's lovely. She's a wonderful girl, and every time I think, I just say to myself, I've got a daughter, I get like a little flutter in my heart, you know, because I'm a very lonely person. So having these 4 kids in my life has really given me a reason to keep going, to be honest. And that's the honest truth, you know. It's a battle. It's a battle, but having these children with me gives me 101,000 million reasons of that there is a purpose for me to be here, and that's to be with them, to look after them, to take care of them. And I'm very happy. I feel that God has given me like a boost, a kind of a second wind, a kind of another chance to I kind of like had backed myself into the wall. Just felt like I'd lost everything really, and it's you know, yeah, but yes, no, I want to be here. I want to be here on earth, to be with my kids, to look after them. I'm very pleased to be a father. I'm just so honoured to be able to take care of God's children, to care for his children, because these children belong to God. Like I belong to God. And I'm very blessed that the Lord has allowed me to look after his angels, and I'll look after these children always. I'll always protect them, keep them safe. They need healing, they get it. They need protection, they get it. They get whatever they need. And they get their yummies. Yes, Sara Lynn likes caramel chocolate. So I've got Sara Lynn caramel chocolate. She loves animal crackers. And there's her caramel chocolate. And Jimmy, there's Jimmy's pineapple lumps. And all the boys, they love the crackers, the biscuit, the cheese nachos. And here's Jimmy's sodas. He loves the Fanta grape soda. And they've asked specially for these things, you know. So I always honour them with these lovely things, because they're happy when they get these things. And Sara Lynn's birthday is in December. Yeah, well, I better cut this video off because it's getting too long. December 9th, so there will be a birthday party for Sara Lynn. And yes, so that will be really good. I already know what I'm getting for her. A present. Hey, so I already know what her present's going to be. We'll have a cake and candles. Yeah, I want to give these kids the experience. I love them very much. And I want them to know that they're loved. Because everything's on loan. We loan everything, whether you're a child in human body, everything's on loan and they can just be taken anytime they want. And my babies can't, no one can kill my babies. But the babies themselves may say, Daddy, I want to go home. I'm ready to go home. And I would call on Michelle and ask her to do a little ceremony to send them, bring the light through and their family, that they can go home. So they're free to always be who they want to be. And I love them very much. I'll never hold them back. So welcome, Sara Lynn. I love you. Okay. See you later.